Hello my friends and welcome back to CubCamTV as a bit of a celebration video today begins to take place. First of all, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who has subscribed to the channel. 20,000 subscribers is the milestone we hit over the weekend. I'm absolutely blown away by this. I find it absolutely crazy that we've been able to amass this many followers on the channel. For me, this is something I never thought would happen, and obviously I enjoy every second of YouTube, so big up each and every one of you who have been a part of the journey so far. Let's keep pushing and push it even further forward. So today we're going to be getting into a bit of a special video. I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A. I did put a post out on the page a few days ago. I'm basically asking you guys for questions that you would like me to answer, both about the channel and about the sort of musical direction we're going in, my personal music history and things like that. So I'm excited to get into this one today. Out to everyone who has sent questions over, we're going to get through as many of them as we can. Without further ado, let's crack right on with this one. Your personal top 5 songs of 2021 and top 3 Afrobeat producers. Wow. This is a difficult one. It's a genuinely very difficult one. 2021 was a fantastic year for Afrobeat music in general. In regards to producers, it's an interesting one because I feel Rexy right now is probably the guy who is out in front. Alongside that as well, you've obviously got SARS doing absolute bits, really pushing the sound forward in a much more of an electronic kind of feel, and I love the direction that SARS is going musically. But for the third choice on this, I'm going to go slightly outside the box, and I am going to go for Foreplay. He is the producer for NSG's music and a number of other UK artists as well. For me, one of the most versatile out there, and he's always able to put a different kind of spin onto instrumentals in the way that he brings them forward. And obviously on top of this, he always works very closely with the vocalists. As far as I'm aware, it always seems like the instrumentals he creates are very fit for purpose, always unique sounding, and that's why he's probably number 3 on that list. My personal top 5 tracks of 2021, it's a difficult one if we're focusing entirely on the sort of Afrobeat sound. I would probably have to go for Love and Attention first. For me, that one is an absolute banger. Obviously, Loj and SARS featuring Wizkid, that was my favourite track of last year, one of the most innovative in my honest opinion. I think Adekunle Gold alongside Lucky Day with Sinner, I think that's in there, that's up for conversation. I think again alongside that similar sort of talking, I think maybe Wizkid alongside Buju with Mood, for me that was a real standout track, one of the real kind of highlights of the extended version of Made in Lagos as well. I think alongside this, when we're looking through other tracks as well, I think I have to include Simi Woman on there as well. For me, this was, without a doubt, one of the most outstanding creations of the year. I loved how much hype it got on social media and all the dance routines that ended up coming off the back of it. And again, Simi is one of my favourite artists, and this one really did hit home for me. And then finally, probably the most recent addition to this list, DJ Neptune alongside Joe Boy and Omar Lay with A Beg. This was a wicked track off that new project from DJ Neptune. For me, it was an instantaneous hit. I love the arrangement on that one, and again, it's something slightly outside the box, so I'd say they're probably my top 5. So there's a lot of questions on this one. We're going to skip the first one purely because we've just done a top 5 of 2021 and we're only just into 2022. So we'll start off with, how do you explain Afrobeats to someone who's never heard the genre? It's a really good question, to be honest with you, because again, I've been kind of following the sound quite closely for the last 2 approaching 3 years. However, before that, I wouldn't have really known how to describe it. I'd say now the best way that I find to describe it is it's music you can't sit still to. It's music that is so incredibly infectious in the way it hits you. It's a sound that is so much built around the percussion and rhythmic section that sitting still is just not really an option. Again, beautiful senses of lyricism, some really forward-thinking use of vocals in there as well. And in general, it's just innovative. There's always people trying new things. There's always people trying different areas of sound as well within the Afrobeat movement, and it's great to see. And that's one of the reasons I love it so much, and it's one of the reasons I enjoy exploring so much of it here on the channel. Next on the list, how prevalent do you think Afrobeats is, and in your opinion, what do you think is its trajectory as far as becoming pop culture more well known? Obviously, I live in the UK, and I'd say it's very much becoming the in sound here. Obviously, in the UK, we've got a massive kind of mix and blend of different sounds on our radars. We've got a lot of UK-centric stuff, but then there's always been a kind of global intake of sounds as well. There's a massive dancehall culture here, obviously a massive house culture here in the UK. There's a massive UK rap culture as well, and in the last few years, we've definitely seen this influx of Afrobeat music really become a staple within the UK. It's why you've got artists such as NSG who are doing absolute bits, and it's great to see. I think without a shadow of a doubt, it's become a lot more of a mainstream sound. It's become a lot more of a kind of accessible sound. More people are kind of opening their ears up to it and what it can offer. The best best example of this, of course, I'd say would be WizKid selling out the O2 on repetitive nights. I think that's something that's such a huge achievement the majority of artists worldwide will never be able to achieve, and I think it's such a great thing to show where the sound has actually got to on a global scale. You can look at the collaborations we're seeing, the likes of Ed Sheeran, the likes of Drake, the likes of Justin Bieber, so many of these huge international artists all jumping on board. I think it's a wicked time for Afrobeat music at the moment, and again, as a viewer, someone who is kind of just watching from the sidelines and kind of breaking it down in my own way, I love it. I love watching every single second of it, and I think we are in probably the strongest moment, at least in my lifetime, within this sort of Afrobeat sound. My favourite underrated artist is question number 4 on this one, so I'm probably going to go somewhere between either Loj or probably someone along the lines of Jules. I think Jules is extremely underrated on a more sort of global scale. He makes incredible music from what he puts together. All of his album projects sound fantastic, and again, his most recent project's awesome at the same time. I've been loving spinning that one on radio. But yeah, I'd probably say Loj or Jules for me. Do reaction on KPK by Mobad featuring Rexy. Again, Rexy's one of my favourite right now, but we did actually do this one on a live stream. However, it was at a point when the live stream was running out and I didn't have much time left and I did need to leave and go and do something else, so it's not probably the best reaction. However, we have reacted to it in a live stream, so I'm sort of umming and ahhing about doing a brand new one, considering I already know the tune pretty well. I've already spun it on radio numerous times, and I want to make sure that when we do reaction videos, they are genuine, they're not forced, and they're not overthought. So potentially we could do a bit of a rerun, maybe do it in a live stream at some point, but that's the reason why. We have actually done this tune. Obviously, it's a massive tune, and I'm trying to stay on top of as many bangers as I can. We have done a reaction to this tune, but just unfortunately the circumstances were a little bit off, which meant I didn't really go to do a full upload of it, but it is up there on one of the live streams. If you owned a record label and you have to choose 10 artists and 5 groups from around the globe, who would you choose and why? I mean, this is a huge question. In regards to groups and things like that, I feel with record labels, obviously you can have your speciality, but for me personally, a good record label moves around different areas. I do actually run a record label myself already. It goes by the name Southpoint, and it's very much based around kind of UK underground dance music. That's very much the area we cover. Grime, garage, a bit of dubstep in there as well, a bit of breaks, a lot of different UK electronic genres, but that's the label that I run. So I do know a little bit about this entire process. If I had to choose 10 artists from a global sort of spectrum, I mean, I'm not sticking to one sort of sound here. Let's just go Drake, The Weeknd, probably Alkaline in there as well, probably Spice, Shenseea, I'd probably go Simi, Adekunle Gold, probably WizKid, I'd probably put NSG in there. Probably Weston in there from the UK as well. Koji, Radical, Swindle. This is basically just a list of me naming artists I like, but it's an interesting one. I'd probably put Jules in there as well. There are so many different artists from different backgrounds. It's really difficult to kind of lump everything into one general area. For me though, I would make sure that I am going for artists that have a level of consistency and a level of kind of organic texture to the way they make music. All of the artists above I've mentioned are all very unique in what they do. They're true to themselves. They're not artists that really kind of create things just for how viral they go. You could probably make an exception for that rule with The Weeknd and Drake because they are both global superstars, but at their heart you know what they want to do and you know that they are making bangers for themselves as much as anything else. So that's something I always look for on a label basis as an A&R, because within the label that I run, I play the role of the A&R. That's the job that I do for the label, and I always try to make sure I'm looking at artists who are both forward thinking but also thinking inward to the point where they are being themselves and they're not trying to pursue someone else's sound. They're very much trying to do their own sound and push it forward in as many ways as they can. So that's probably the criteria I would make sure I was looking for. What producer would you call if you had to do a 20-track studio album? What genre would you do? And you would have to pick 12 artists from around the globe as features. I mean, again, I've pretty much answered this in the previous one. I'd want to keep it as varied as possible, but one thing I would say is I wouldn't do a single genre. If I had to pick a single genre, it would probably be in and around I'd probably say it'd be in and around electronic music, because you can do so much more with that as an overall tag, but again, we're essentially arguing the meaning of words at that point. I'd want to make an album that would be very, very widespread. I wouldn't want it to be focused in on one sort of sound. I'd want it to be a journey, kind of going along different avenues. That's something I would do. But if I was to call a producer to do it, it would probably... I don't know, it's an interesting one. It'd probably be someone along the lines of Swindle, because we've heard Swindle album projects, and for me, Swindle is one of the most incredible producers on a global basis. You can check out the interview we did with him on the channel, but it's all about keeping it varied. It's all about keeping it kind of constantly expanding more than anything else. Again, there are producers such as Gold Up on there as well, the Fanatics, another fantastic production duo, people like Foreplay, people like J5 as well. There's so many fantastic, especially UK producers right now that I'm a big fan of. But you could probably go to so many international ones as well. You could look at people like the guys over at Chimney Records in the sort of dancehall world. You could look at people in obviously the likes of Rexy and people along those lines, people like SARS. Again, people I've already mentioned on this video. But yeah, for me, it's more about just expanding as much as you can, and for me, Swindle would be someone that can do a lot of different things within the sound he's creating. Okay, so for both of these, obviously they are requests for reactions. The one thing I can say is, at the moment, we are doing requested reactions on Mondays and Tuesdays. I'm trying to keep the structure in place. The reason we don't get around to doing all of them is because I do try to save a lot of them for the live stream. So the best way to guarantee that your tune will get reacted to is to get into one of the Friday night live streams nice and early. We stream from 7 till 8 UK time. We put the videos up a little bit before so you can get in early and book your place, but essentially make sure you lock into the live streams from 7 till 8 if you want to make sure you're getting your track reacted to. You simply put the request in, and if you're there early enough, you'll be able to get your track reacted to live on stream. So please, if you are maybe wondering why I haven't got around to one of the tracks, it's because we get requested so many different tracks on this channel, and I want to make sure we're being as fair as possible. So get into the live stream nice and early. That'll be the best way if you haven't already had your track reacted to. Bro, you should definitely host a radio show or something. You've got the voice and the vibe for it. Well, first of all, thank you. That's a nice thing to say. It's definitely an avenue of life that I have been pursuing for a long period of time. I have actually been doing radio for over 10 years at this point in numerous different avenues. I've always been on and off different stations, but at the moment, my day job, my full-time job is actually being a radio presenter on Trickstar over here in the UK. I do 7 till 10, Monday to Fridays. I do the breakfast show. And I have quite a lot of autonomy over the breakfast show. I'm able to play whatever sounds I want, which is why I try to cover as many different genres and sounds as I possibly can, because I feel I'd be doing a disservice if I wasn't. So you can actually lock into the show worldwide. There's an app you can download called the Trickstar Radio app. It's available on the App Store and Google Play, and you can lock in live via that app, and I'm live 7 till 10 Monday to Friday. So come and join us for a breakfast show. It's good fun. It's a great way to start your day. If I do say so myself, I very much enjoy putting the show together, and we are going to be opening up a new studio premises very soon, from which you'll be able to see a lot more interview content, a lot more sort of back and forths, and a lot more general content, which is going to be very enjoyable indeed. So do stay tuned for that. Well, there we go. That just about wraps up all of the questions on today's list. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who has sent questions over. I've really enjoyed putting this together. We're going to try and keep the content nice and varied here on the channel. Big up each and every one of you who is involved. Obviously, please make sure if you have enjoyed this, that you leave a like on the video, you leave a comment, and if you've got any future questions, leave them in the comment section down below. If this video proves popular, we might run them on a sort of monthly basis. I do enjoy just kind of sitting and talking about music more than anything else. It's no real chore for me, so please do that if you are wanting more of these Q&As. But there we go. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friends, and we'll see you all next time. Peace.
Sounding so good right now. But they're sounding a bright and town. Guys, press place. Who's the boss man?
Yo, this is Skepsis and you're listening to KXVU.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, CubCamTV. Stay locked.